Happy National Week, everybody. It's finally here. The day or the week that we all wait for. I think a lot of us wait for the whole year. The day where we actually get to come together, see each other, and hang out and get to do that this year in Chicago. I will be leaving here Wednesday on a flight out of Salt Lake to Chicago, and I will be there till Saturday. I'm excited to see a lot of you guys. But before then, and as always, every week, I produce this show that we call Across the Hobby, and the main purpose of it is to hit the most significant sales from last week, but more importantly, even than that, to hit the most significant and biggest auctions happening this week. So today we've got four things that are part of the show. Number one, I want to take you guys through first 3 tips on the National, 3 things that I've learned I haven't gone to the National that many times. I'm not like some massive veteran, but I think I've been 5 different times. I think this is my 6th one. Or maybe it's my 5th one. I've sort of lost track. I've gone enough times that I've lost track. How about that? So we're going to talk about the 3 tips that I've got for you guys for the National. And then next, I want to talk about the biggest sales of the last week. Then I want to update you guys on where we're at with the 25 and 25. And then lastly, I want to hit, and this is the lion's share of this episode, I want to hit you guys with the biggest auctions this week. And really, I cannot emphasize this enough. That is the most important part of this episode, because this is maybe the best week of the whole year to buy. And I'm not even joking. That isn't just to try to get you guys to go look at the auctions. It is legitimately, I have found that this week often has the most great deals that are out there. Why? It's pretty simple. People are out at the National. They're planning. They're doing all of these other sorts of deals and things, and they got all these other cards that are in front of them. They don't look at the auction houses as much as usual, and you notice that because there are fewer auctions than usual this week. For example, there is no MC Sports Cards weekly auction ending tonight. They don't have their MC Mondays tonight. So without further ado, let's jump into my 3 tips on the National. And then we'll kind of sort of go from there. So I've written down, I'd spent some time thinking through, what would I say to somebody that I have learned that would be really good for them to know while coming into the National. And so these are just thoughts by Adam. Like I said, I think this is my 5th or my 6th one. And these are some of the things that I've learned that are most important. You hear some of the same stuff over and over again. And you've probably, I'm sure you're not tuning into this as your first National look through, right? A lot of people have been more than me and know a lot more than I do about this, and that's not the main purpose of this show. But I do think I have got some things that I think will be beneficial to you. So my first real big piece of advice is this, and it is simple: spend time in planning. Or we're hobbyists; we're very well acquainted with creating a checklist. Make a checklist. Figure out what the things are that you actually want to see while you're there. And if you're meeting a lot of people, I think it does make sense you don't have to have some super planned out agenda, but I think it does make some sense to know certain people that you're going to see at certain times. So if there's anybody who you specifically want to make sure that you see, specifically friends that you have that you're hey, I need to make sure that I connect with that person. Don't just depend on bumping into them while you're there. You'd like to run into everybody. There's a good chance that you will run into a lot of people, but there's also a chance that you'll go days without seeing people. It is such a massive show that you could walk around for 5 straight days and not bump into somebody that you're planning on seeing there. So number one, spend time planning, create a checklist. I have a little note in my phone, and the note has Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then, here's the various times that I'm seeing different people, or going to lunch or to dinner with people and things like that. And I think that's really good advice. So start there, start with your checklist, but it's not just about seeing people, right? It's about seeing different tables. It's about, if you're going to get something graded or run something by an auction house or a consignment shop or something like that, or there's anything, just make sure you get it written all down. That's number one. Number two, as part of your plan, as part of your checklist, have some time that is open. The reason that I say this is, while I think it's good to be planned, there's plenty of times where people plan so much that it doesn't leave them time to do some of the things that they realize once they get there are the most important. You're not going to realize some of the people that you may want to hang out with, some of the tables that you want to spend a lot of time with. So make sure as part of your plan to have some open time. That's number 2. And number 3, this is probably the thing that I feel most passionately when it comes to the national. And you'll know that this is true because I literally have only ever acquired one card while at the national. This show is way more about relationships than it is about the cards. Way more. And that doesn't have to be that way for you. It is that way for many people, though. It is that way for me. For a lot of us, we're busy. We have a lot of things going on in our lives. We don't get to go to every show. And a lot of people I get won't get to go to this show either. But if you're going to go to a show each year, the National is certainly one of them, if not the show that has the most people at it. So remember that. Remember that when you're seeing somebody, for a lot of people, it might be the only time you see that person in person ever. You may have talked to this person hundreds of times, and it may be the first time you've ever seen them in person. So definitely remember that. Remember to, I would tell you guys this. I had a friend a couple years ago who I saw, and I was like, hey, and I sort of called out his name, and I was like, hey, man. And I could tell just as soon as I saw his eyes, he was thinking about where he was going to. And I called, he was sort of moving quickly. I might have been inconsiderate sort of calling out to him, but I hadn't seen him in so long. And I just wanted to be like, hey man, like, it's good to see you. And I could tell as soon as I sort of tried to stop him, I was like, oh, you were in process. You actually didn't want to talk to me. And that's okay. I'm not bugged about that. I'm not bothered about it at all. But for some people, it really is a lot of it. Most of it's about the cards and about, making deals and making money or whatever their goals are. So not everybody's like me where they're more into the sort of seeing people, but I think that the better way to be is definitely when you're thinking about people rather than about the cards. But with that said, if you see me at the show, if I don't know you super well, and if I haven't met you in person, there's a good chance I won't recognize you. Please come say hi though. And I would love to meet you and, just shake your hand and have a conversation with you. Some of my best moments at the National are like that. I've told the story several times. I think my second National, I ran into my friend G, the Lucky Show, one of my good friends in the hobby. I ran into a couple of other guys, JJJ Gambino and Kyle from Wax Museum. And the 4 of us ended up just going to dinner, and it on this impromptu, we didn't know it was going to happen. And so this goes against my planning idea. It was one of the most fun things that I've had happen at the National. So I would recommend strongly remembering that it's about those relationships. And with that said, this is one of the things that's really tough is you might have a bag that's very valuable. You might have everything on you that is worth a lot of money. And that can sort of weigh you down sometimes. That can make it so that you don't want to do some of the fun things. That can be a problem. So how you manage that, I don't have great advice. I've had people tell me, bring everything. I can tell you, I don't think bringing everything is a great idea. Unless there is a chance that you will move it, you probably shouldn't bring it. I've had people ask me to bring some of my biggest cards because they want to see them. I don't know if I feel super comfortable with that. So I'm not going to bring a lot of stuff, but I probably will bring some stuff. I still have to make up my mind on that. With that said, I will see a lot of you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm excited for that. Like I said, come say hi to me if you see me. So with that said, or with that out of the way, let's now hit some of the biggest sales of last week. And we will start out by hitting the leaderboard of the Fanatics Collect weekly auction that ended just last night. And we start out with Jacob Mizrowski. I looked up the pronunciation guide before I started. I think I'm probably getting that wrong. Mizrowski, I think is how you say it. This is, I think a lot of people would argue, his best card in existence. His 2022 first Bowman Chrome Superfractor autograph sells for $52,800. It's a lot of money for a pitcher, but it's also his best card in existence. I love it when they put things like this down here at the bottom. Pop 1 of 1. Well, I would think so. It's a Gem 10 and it's a 1 of 1 super. Absolutely a huge card. We knew it was going to be huge going into this week because I think even at the beginning of the week, it was already like 30 grand. There's a number of huge PMG champs that sold, starting out with a PSA 9 Hakeem. And I've got to tell you guys the story on this one, because every time you see a high grade copy, you should look at the card and say, I wonder if that's one of the 50 of 50s. And this one is. Well, why is it interesting that it's one of the 50 of 50s? This card has such a crazy story behind it. Okay, so back in 1998, there was a young man who, this is no lie, I've talked to him, I've interviewed him. I interviewed him for BCF. It's in one of the old Basketball Card Fanatic issues. If you want to order it digitally and hear the whole story, you can hear it. I've also done reels about this. This kid pulled the redemption, the Ultimate Gem Masters redemption from this product. So what's the Ultimate Gem? I think it's called the Ultimate Gem Masters redemption. Well, 497 Metal Universe Championship, Fleer Skybox made this redemption that would allow the person who pulled it to get one complete set of the PMG champs, a complete set. And so they took sets number 46 through 50. You can see this one's number 50 of 50. They took sets 46 through 50, and they only distributed them as a whole set. My Jordan is from one of these sets. Mine's number 48 of 50. So where the PMG greens, they took the first 10% and they made them, where the PMG, the first ones, they made the first 10% green. With the championship, they made the last 10% not pack inserted per se, but only available via redemption. So this kid back in 1998 pulls the redemption card, one in 100 and something thousand packs. His family's like swimming. He puts the pack down, he goes swimming, and he comes back and he looks at the cards and he's like, I don't know what this is. And he shows the redemption to his mom, and his mom helps him read through it, and sort of like, they live in Canada, and they're like, well, we can't submit this because you're not allowed to through Canada. It's for U.S. residents only. So they went to their uncle, gives it to his uncle. His uncle redeems the set. Uncle brings the set back, gives it to this kid. Kid looks at it and he's like, wow, these are great cards. Looks in the Beckett and finds that like many of the cards are worth hundreds of dollars. I think that Jordan at the time is worth $1,500. Books for $1,500. Doesn't mean it's going to sell for that. Remember, back in the 90s, if you see a card books high Beckett for $1,000, there's a good chance you're only going to sell it for 30% of that. A lot of cards sold for less than low book back then, for those of you who weren't around. I remember selling cards for 20% of low book. You'd have a card that had a high book of $50 and you couldn't get more than $4 for it. That was pretty normal back in the day. So before eBay and all that, those other things. So this kid gets these cards. They're in a cellophane block. He pulls them out of the cellophane block, puts them all in penny sleeves, puts a bunch of them in hard cases after he puts them in the penny sleeves, puts them all in cases, and he just sets them aside for years. About 10 years ago, he goes to a show and he sells the whole set, the complete set, the 50 of 50s. That's where this Hakeem was. This is the set that it came from. And if you look at the pop report, if you look at any of these that are graded, almost every time one is high graded, it's from the 50 of 50 set. He sold the whole set for $20,000 10 years ago. And yesterday, like, just think about this. This kid sold the whole set for 20 grand. And 10 years later, just the Hakeem Olajuwon sold for $24,000. It's amazing because Hakeem's not even one of the best 10 cards in this set. He's not. That was, to the person who bought the set, one of the greatest deals in history. And what's amazing is the kid who sold it felt like probably the biggest genius in the world, because at one point he was trying to get $2,000 or $3,000 for his redemption card. No one would buy it. And then eventually he sells it for $20,000 for the whole set. And now that complete set is worth probably about $2 million. That's a big guess because I don't know what each card is graded, but there's some cards from the set that are PSA 10s, commons, that are worth tens of thousands of dollars. So I was interested to watch this Elijah one because I wanted to see, what it would sell for, like see if it could sell for more than the kid sold the whole set for. It actually did. $24,000 for the 50 of 50 Hakeem Olajuwon. Unbelievable. Oh shoot, did I hit the wrong button? Maybe I did. No, I didn't. So we've got the Cal Raleigh Super Hot 5 of 5 PSA 10, $23,000. Really interesting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the gold optic, not even the prism, the gold optic for 21 grand. I've said this for years. I think in 2018, the optic is a better looking card than the prism is. The optic Shai gives you the rated rookie sign. It's just a beautiful classic design. The prism Shai doesn't even say rookie card on the front. I'm not knocking it. I'm just pointing out, like, aesthetically and the storytelling, this one's a better looking card. The only thing is prism is just so much more beloved. BGS 6 on the Jordan Star gets us almost 20 grand. The Jackson Chirio, 18,600 for his Dynasty Gold 1/1 patch auto. Every time we see a Tom Brady, this one's in an old BGS 8 case, 18,600. Was really interested to watch this Mahomes. And in a lot of ways, I think this is a great deal. So if this was, this is the black out of 25, and it's numbered 1 of 25, and it's BGS 9.5. 18 grand. If this was a gold, you're talking about 5 times as much as this, 4 times as much as this. It's a lot more money for something that's, it's 2.5 times rare. So maybe that makes sense. I think I also want to say I'm really partial to the autograph versions of this. Doesn't this card just look like it should be signed? It does to me. A big Charles Barkley, 16,800. A LeBron from the 2013 set. It's the 03 tribute set, numbered out of 35 for 16.8. Jordan with a little bit of a faded autograph still does 16.8. It's a big number for that card, in my opinion. We've seen a couple of these Kobe sell. We didn't see any sell for a long time. BGS 8 at 15 grand. A Jordan Finite autograph, 15,600. Another big PMG champ, the Gary Payton at 14,400. A big Willie Mays, top 30% eye appeal, PSA 8. Tough year to get an 8. 62 tops is really tough. $15,000. You got to love this Jordan sale right here. This isn't even the base or the most normal base card. This is a subset. And the subset, what's it called? Best Performers, I think. It's part of the base set. Reminder, a subset is a card that's part of the base set, but it's not one of the typical base cards. And this is, like I said, Best Performers. The second time they did Atomic Refractors, obviously going to be very low population, $13,800. Johnny Moore for 13.8. Lots of Caitlin sold for a lot of money this week, 13.2. Jordan autograph on the baseball. This is called the Sweet Spot autograph in the Sweet Shot product, $13,200. Autograph's a little bit light on that, but still very nice. You can see these 3 sales here. Big Stephon Marbury sale, PSA 7 for $13,200 on the red. All right, let's just do a few more. Wanted to get to at least these 3 right here. So LeBron BGS 9.5 on the Chrome Refractor rookie, 12,600. Mitch Richmond. I helped a good friend sell his PSA 10 of this card for a lot more money than this. And he and I were talking about it this morning, talking about this 6. And I think he was like, wow, how could a 6 do $12,600? And he, obviously, like I said, his 10 sold for a lot more. But the first thing on this set is finding the card. And Mitch Richmond, like John Stockton, like Reggie Miller, these guys who were beloved members of teams that do not have the largest fan bases, a lot of them never move. And I mean, really never move. This is the first time I've ever seen a Mitch Richmond move. So it's like, well, how could a PSA 6 sell for $12,600? Like, people need that set, man. And it's mostly set collectors, although there's lots of player collectors. That's especially who bought them back in the day. Now it's these big time set collector guys. And that's not even a little bit of a surprising price for me. The 90 Fine sells for $12,600. I don't think we've seen the other Shaq Rubies yet, have we? I don't think we have, and I think that one sold for a lot more. It's really interesting to me. Let's look it up, and then we'll be done with Fanatics for this week. So Shaquille, we'll just type in Shaquille. Top 2 will probably be the Rubies cards. Yeah, look at this. This is really interesting to me. So the 90 fine up, it's 34 out of 50. The jersey number, it's very cool. Two cards, both Rubies. This one was made first, the Team Skybox. They're both loved cards. Neither one of them are worth as much as their base counterparts. This one's a 7, this one's a 6. But in general, I would say that the Team Skybox is a more popular set. I personally think it's a better looking set. And this one you can see here is a little bit dark. But with that said, a lot better looking in person, like all Rubies are, than they are on screen. So with that said, I would take the Team Skybox here, except for this is the number 34 of 50 example. And if you're after that sort of thing, I can way more see you wanting to take this card than the other one. After all, Shaq has only 4 of these like original Rubies cards from those first 2 years of serial numbering. And there's only, all 4 of them have a jersey numbered copy. You're not going to ever see them pop up. With that said, without the presence of the 34 out of 50, to me, this card's a far superior card. All right, and then I wanted to see what this one would sell for. I didn't get to list it on my top 10 last week, but it was like one of my very last cuts. The Raise the Roof Shack is almost $6,000. One of the most beautiful sets ever. And I'll always kick myself for not picking up Kobe's when I could have had them all day long at $5,000 to $7,000. Okay, so that's it for Fanatics auction last week. We'll look now at the Golden auction for this week. You can see 3 of the first 4 cards in the auction. Again, these are the auction. These are the things that just ended last week. 3 of the 4 are Caitlin. 3 of the top 4 are Caitlin. Big Shea. This is the autograph version, though. Even the autograph mojos of Shea is doing $13,000. I highlighted this Jackie Robinson last week. You can see that the edges had been cut off. This card had been trimmed significantly. With that said, it is an original Jackie card with an original autograph, and that is amazing. Did $11,000. The Jordan rookie with the sticker auto on it sold for almost $10,000. The dual logo man of Paul George and Benedict Mathurin, very much a Pacers delight card here, sold for almost $10,000. The Mickey mantle, Ken Griffey, but only has Mickey's autograph at $8,400. A PSA 8 on the Kobe Fusion silver here, almost $8,000. I was very interested to see what this Jordan sells for. This is the one out of 100. There is a rarer version. This one sold for almost $8,000. All right, we're going to call it there for Golden's week last week. And then I've just pulled up the top few sales, cards over $5,000 from the last week from MC Sports Cards. Caitlin at $5,100. Caitlin at $9,200. She's just very pricey. Which is not shocking. She's the most popular player in the history of that sport by many miles. Big sell on the Marvin Harrison Jr. Optic White downtown, $5,400 on the Scotty Barnes Flawless Game Used RPA. Big Caitlin Clark right here sold for $7,000. Now we're all the way back to last week. That we didn't see what all these ones sold for. Let's scroll through these real quick. So this is the monthly showcase. These are all the cards that sold for over $5,000. We could talk about all of them. There are an awful lot. Let's see what stands out. Almost $20,000 on the Willie Mays, 6.5. $14,000 on the Caitlin Instant. This is our first big autograph. This is the Jungle version. $26,000 for the LeBron Refractor rookie. The Hank Aaron, 7.5, hit over 30. We knew that one was going to be big. I was really interested to see what this Hank Aaron would do. And there's this one, and then there's another big Aaron that you're going to see later down that sold for a lot too. It has a much nicer piece of bat. But what I want people to understand is this. These sets from the late 90s and early 2000s, these earlier upper deck game used type sets, game used and autograph sets. This one's called A Piece of History. This is like such a very popular set. The 500 Home Run Club bat set was really popular, and to see an autograph, like I saw cases of this stuff open. I don't think we ever saw anything out of our shop. I was working in a card shop when this came out. I don't think we ever saw a card like this come out of this product. Incredibly tough pulls, so many game bat cards, most of them very cheap. $18,000 for the Jordan and a PSA 7. We've seen a lot of them sell recently, and they're still really strong. And it's not any shock why. Like, it's one of his most popular cards ever. Jackie and a 3.5, strong eye appeal, almost 12 grand. Kobe, this is the Shimmer, did really well, $12,550. Again, that's just for the Shimmer. Big sale there. Mahomes, PSA 9. There were two big Mahomes golds. The 2022 sold for about 20% more than the 2023. I think this Kobe autograph here was a pretty good deal. He's only really got the one autographics card, and this was like the only PSA 10. Did $7,200. PSA 10 on the Brady rookie, $8,100. $9,800 for the first edition LeBron. Always interesting to see that one sell so well. We've seen a couple of these Elway PSA 10s recently do really well. How about this? Over 10 grand on that one. $7,100 on this Frank Thomas Select Mirror Gold. Actually, I skipped this Jordan, but BGS 9.5, almost 10 grand on that. Big Shohei for $5,300. Here's the Aaron that I was talking about. Look at that amazing piece of bat. Also autographed. This one's a 1-of-1, and it sells for about 60% of what the other one sold for. Why would it sell for so much less when it's so much nicer? It's got a nicer autograph. It's got a nicer picture. It's got a nicer piece of bat. It's numbered 1-of-1. Again, sets matter. Sets and the importance of those sets really matter. And I'm not saying that 2020 Tier 1 is not a great set. It's just it's not one of these early ones that just never pops up that's had a large collector base for a long time. So that's always something interesting to watch. Big Kobe here sold for $6,100. Let's just scroll through and see if there's anything else that really, really jumps out at us. If not, we're going to keep moving because this is, like I said, this is the monthly auction, and they sold like 100 cards that were over $5 grand. Here's this Jordan that we talked about a lot, BGS 10. Yes, it's a Wizards card, but it's one of his rarest refractors ever. I thought this was a really good sale for this Kobe. The card's numbered out of 49. What would I rather have, this or that autographics card? I'd rather have the autographics card. I like this card. I like the wide autograph. I like the aesthetics of it. But I love the significance of the other side. I like the aesthetics on the autographics too. But this one, the paint pen it's really nice. Really was interested to see what this Walter Payton would do. One of his better autographs, the Incredible out of 34, over 10 grand. It was worth probably half that to 2/3 that when it came out. There's probably other great cards, but we're going to keep moving. I only pulled up $2,500 and over cards for hoodies last week. The one that really stood out to me, actually there's two that really stood out to me. This is a beautiful patch on the Cal Raleigh. We talked about that last week. But this Tom Brady card here got me thinking. So there's definitely been this movement this last few years. So many of these types of cards have found their way out of Beckett holders and found their way into PSA holders. And I think it's really interesting because I think we're seeing more of an inflated number in the pop reports or in Gem Rate's combined pop reports. We're seeing more inflation in that than we've ever seen before. And there's literally nothing that we can do about it. There's no way you can know whether something's been cracked 0 times or 50 times. You just don't know. What I do know is that the BGS, the high BGFs grades, they're largely being cracked out. And I think something's lost when they're cracked out. I'm going to show you what I think. Show you what I mean. So if you click on this Brady card right here, sold for almost $4,000 for a base Tom Brady. And you click into it and you can see here are the subgrades. And you could say, well, the only reason that hasn't been cracked out is it wouldn't cross to a 10. And so blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's probably true. It probably wouldn't cross to a 10. Let's acknowledge that at the beginning. But like, how many of these are there? If we go over to, I think I still got it open. If we go over to the Beckett graded card lookup tool and we type in 7375750, and we just highlight this card, there are 4,000 of these in the pop, and 100 of them are graded higher, meaning there's 100 cards that are BGS 10s, 102 that are 10s, 2 that are blacks. The 2 blacks are not coming out of those black label holders. I think there's maybe 10s I know that sounds crazy, but maybe pristines that people have wanted to have in PSA holders. Still probably not. Still, most of these are probably in this holder. How many of these 1,577 BGS 9.5s are still in those holders? Well, first off, you've got people who cracked these a million times trying to get these, right? Crack 9.5s trying to get 10s. And then you have all the people who've cracked 9.5s looking to get PSA 10s. I just think the number's inflated for a card like that. I just do. I think there's may come a time where we look back and we go, gosh, why did I crack all my cards out of those cases? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that won't happen. Okay, so that is it for hoodies, and that is it for the cards that have sold this week. Now, before we go on to the main part of this episode, which is looking at the biggest auctions across the hobby this week, I want to look with you at at what we have so far on the 25 and 25. So if you come to my Instagram, just bear with me for a sec. If you come to my Instagram and you just go to the main page, what I've tried to do here, and I didn't start doing this, but I started doing it later. I want to give you an easy way to just sort of look down through and say, okay, which card do I want to look at right now? So you've got the Mahomes. If you click on the Mahomes, you get all sorts of data over here from gem rate on like how many times it's been graded. This one's really interesting. Mahomes has been graded 169 times, which is kind of crazy because there's only 99 of them, right? It's been graded 70% more than how many exist. And you can see it was number 13 on the 25 and 25. You go to number 14, LeBron, 15, Tiger SP, 16 is the Skeens MLB debut patch. We had 3 baseball cards here in a row. The 2 Shoheis. Get to the Kobe. Look, this is what's so interesting. Okay, all of the non-basketball guys will always tell me, they'll say, "Hey, like your lists don't get enough love," and I did everything possible on this list to ensure that non-basketball would get a lot of love. But like, just look at this real quick, okay? Kobe, this Kobe Topps card here. It's just me talking about it with Kiki, right? It's number 19 on the list. 273 likes, 26 comments. You go to Shohei, 74 and 8. The next Shohei, 152 and 16. Skeens, 48 and 13. Tiger, 72 and 7. Right? LeBron doesn't get a lot of love right now, that's for sure. But like the basketball cards, the big basketball cards, look at this Jordan, 707 likes, 53 comments. And then you go down a little bit further. This one right here, this LeBron that didn't make the list, 544 and 64. Like, people love the basketball cards. They do. They love talking through the basketball cards, guys. And so, this is where we're at, though. I want to show this screen real quick. That is, we've added a couple since then, the last 2 since then, but that is the list so far. We're halfway through, all the way through. So starting with 25, Jordan, coming along down here, number 15 with the Tiger, and then we've had 2 since then. We're through the top 13, and later today, I'm going to post number 12. How is it shaping up? Is it shaping up the way that you thought it would? I will say this. As we get down to this last group right here, I think it's really a litmus test on whether you're like sort of like lacking knowledge around a card that's iconic. I really do. I have a good friend who messaged me. He said, only 12 to go or something. And I responded to him. I said, can you name all 12? And he said, absolutely. And he gave it a shot. And he did so good. All right, I actually had a couple of people like this. I'm thinking about one friend in particular right now. He did so good. He didn't quite get it. He's definitely missing some. But like, he's close. And when he looks back, he's going to go, oh, I thought for sure that one card would make it, and it didn't. And that's because an exercise like this, where it's where it's like a law of large numbers thing, where it's a lot of people who are voting, it really sort of lets you know like what the community thinks. And that is interesting because you can sort of look at it and go, I didn't realize the community felt that way. For example, I am still shocked that the Mahomes optic finished number 21. The only optic card that made the list, Mahomes finishes 21. Shocking. Did I think that would happen? I did not. But it's like, well, that's because you're not a basketball guy, Adam. I didn't have this Jordan limited logos anywhere near my top 25, and it finished 25. How many of these cards did I pick for my list? I think I had the Pujols. I think I had the LeBron, the Luka. I did not have the Mahomes. I did not have this Jordan. I did have this Kobe. I didn't have either Shohei's. Can you imagine how high Shohei's Bowman would be on this list if he just had one card? Shot themselves in the foot with that one. Skeens at 16. I didn't have Skeens. I didn't have either Shohei. I did have the Tiger SP. Let's see. I did have this Mahomes. I didn't have this LeBron. That was a tough omission. All right. So come check it out. If you haven't already, check out the 25 and 25 on my Instagram at the Real 27 guy. Please subscribe. Obviously, please subscribe and like this show as well. Okay. Now let's talk about, we're 35 minutes in. Let's talk about the big auctions this week. Again, reminder, this is the week of the year where you're going to find some of the best deals. I'm just being real. It's true. When people's attention is somewhere else, it sometimes provides opportunities. So if you come into MC Sports Cards, you're going to come in here and you're going to go, wait, it's Monday. What are these lower dollar cards doing here? MC does not have their monthly auction ending tonight. And so there's lots of lower dollar cards. They always have thousands of cards up. Right now they have, does it say at the top here? 2,163 items. And, there's a lot of them are 99 cents. So instead of sorting by most recent, today what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to sort by highest. So this is auctions ending soon. We're going to say see all, and then we're going to sort by highest. And when we do that, we're just going to look at the auctions. We don't want to look at all the items that they have up, just the auctions. We're going to start out with a Caitlin Flawless. This is from the rookie royalty set, number 23 of 25, 11 grand. This is a glorious card. This looks every bit as good as Flawless stuff normally does. Comes from the rookie royalty set, and some people scoff at that. Some people scoff at the jersey not being game used. Gosh, guys, if there's one thing I can tell you, people haven't been as sensitive to the game used thing as a lot of people think that they will be. I'm not going to say whether it's right. I'm just going to say that it's true. One thing that I neglected to do this week, just because we're low on time, is to look through all of the Fanatics premier items from last week. I want to show you guys. I'll show you guys this real quick, just real fast. Because I think this is super interesting. Okay, if you come to my Instagram and you click on, and you scroll down, you're going to see this post that I made. And I made this back when the Caitlin was at $180,000. And I just said, hey, guys, what do you think? $426,000 for the Anthony Edwards? That's what that sold for in 2022? And here's the Caitlin. It's $180,000, and it's got a few days left. Which one's the better card? And if you look through the comments here, it's like some people are like, are you serious, Adam? Like, this is ridiculous. Or like this one right here, Ant NBA just beats the WNBA. You see people really like, they read these comments and they really resonate. So this guy had 23 likes on that. Just Ant and NBA is better than WNBA. This guy right here, Ant-Man, because it's game-worn logo, man. Useless random patch for Clark. Just my opinion. 9 likes on that. Then you have people like this who was like long-term career of the two remains to be seen, but I'd actually take the Clark right now. I think the WNBA is here to stay. I'm an Indiana resident, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I just don't think Ant is the face of the NBA. Great player, but I don't see an all-time great in his game. I'd easily pick a dozen or so players over him in the league right now. I talked about these things a little bit on last week's show, and I do remember that. But like, as you look through here, this guy right here, Ant, is in the most respectful way possible. I don't see Caitlin Clark cards keeping value unless she becomes the GOAT of the sport due to the WNBA's lack of popularity. 12 likes. A lot of people this resonated with. Guys, the Caitlin Clark sold for way more than the Anthony Edwards did. And the most shocking part about that is that the Caitlin is not game used and the Ant is. Now, somebody might say, hey, the Ant might sell for way more today, Adam, and you could be right. You could be right. I'm not going to argue that. What I'm going to say is this question was a good question. And like, if you look through the comments, people are like, this is crazy. Like if we could scroll through this some more, there were a couple of guys who were like, this is like this guy right here, Fred Detroit. I love you, dude. But he says, oof. And I replied to him, methinks the oof was wait. Oh, here it is. Sorry. I said, why oof? And he said, you'll see when it ends. 3 days after that, he gave Fred credit. He's like 200K higher. Insanity, in my opinion. My response was, yeah, methinks that the oof was premature. The oof was premature. But a lot of people said this. Like there was a lot of, are you serious? Ant-Man, duh, LOL, Ant. Like lots of people who were like, this is like a ridiculous question sort of stuff. And it's okay to feel that way. I try to make questions like this really interesting, good questions, especially on my Instagram, where I want to be super engaging with you guys. I want you guys to read them and go, huh, what do I think here? This one was a good one. It was sitting at 180 and it completely destroyed the Anthony Edwards, right? It sold for over 50% more than the Anthony Edwards. The Caitlin is easily the higher selling card. It was not even close. Community would have taken the Ant, though. I'm telling you, I didn't do a poll. The community would have taken the Ant by a mile. Caitlin outsold Ant by 50%. So with that said, how does that apply to this? Well, I'll tell you how it applies to this. The Caitlin, sorry, guys. The Caitlin, where am I? I'm all over the place. The Caitlin Flawless right here is also not game used, but it is a flawless RPA. No, it's not. It's rookie royalty. I know, but they didn't make a flawless set. So if you want a flawless Caitlin Clark RPA, you're looking at it. All right, $6,100 right now is what another Caitlin's at. Cosmic Spider-Man, $4,200. You know I don't know anything about that. Caitlin rookie royalty, one and done, excuse me. Downtown, $3,500. We gotta love the Steph right here. Beautiful image, $2,100. Kobe PSA 10, Pop 11. A lot of those really going crazy right now. That one ends tonight, so that one's worth watching. A couple of big kabooms. I've always loved this set. So the Tiffany parallel of the 97 Fleer set is fantastic because this is as low end as it gets. These were like $1.50 a pack back then, maybe $2, $2.50 a pack. But they had some of the better looking inserts. 97 Fleer was really, really well done. But in a PSA 10, this is a Pop 8. I had a Jordan of this card that I thought was perfect, and I sent it into Beckett about 5 years ago, and it came back a BGS 8. I thought it was a 10 for sure. BGS 8. It's a tough set for grading. A lot of the edges and corners are definitely really sensitive. From this era, again, the cardboard's not super nice. That's especially true of the base. The Tiffany's a little bit nicer, but $1,500 on that. Low pop, fairly rare, not crazy rare, but if you look at the odds, these were like one per box, and it was a pretty big set. That's not an easy card at all. PSA 9 on the Kobe rookie. All right, we could keep going, but that's going to be it for MC Sports cards this week. Okay. I got to remember to do the top 5. Did I miss anything that should have been in my top 5 this week? I might have. I don't know. There's a couple cards I really like, but nothing that I think I'm going to want to put on my top 5. Let's scroll down just a little bit further, just in case anything really stands out. I might have to be less picky this week because there's so few auctions. Noise Boys and a 9 on the Timmy. Now we're going to keep moving. Let's go to hoodies. So for hoodies this week, we're just sorted by highest. Same thing. And we've seen this card sell a couple times lately. I wonder if it's the same one. Kaboom from 2023, the gold of Jokic. Last I checked, he only has 2 Kaboom golds. One of the players of the era. Absolutely. Worth watching for sure. What is this? On-card Kobe autographed rookie. Wow. Let's look at this and talk about why this is an interesting auction. So, this is really interesting, guys. Is there any comments down here? I don't think so. The item you were bidding on is the one in the title, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing here that outlines anything, but this is really a unique item. So Kobe autograph, nice big 8 at the end. Very worn. This card has definitely seen its time. Lots of wear around the edges and corners. And the question that everybody is asking, what is this? Is that James Spence authentication? Is that what that JSA? Yep, it says it right here, JSA COA. So the question that everybody and their brother is going to ask is, will that pass authentication? I'm not the best with colors. At first, when I looked at this bottom part down here, I wondered if that could be red. This could be a rubies, but you can see up above that this is gold. This is the very base. This is the base Kobe rookie, like 99.99% of them are. It is hammered. There's an autograph on it. There is a JSA sticker. And the only question that matters is, can this be authenticated by PSA? Because if it can, if they will, it becomes one of very few Kobe Bryant rookie cards that have been autographed. So let me show you guys something here that's like so interesting. If you go in right now, go to PSA's Pop Report. I'll show you guys something here that's pretty cool. And you click on basketball cards. There's several ways to get into PSA's Pop Report in a way that's helpful. I'm going to sort of show you the way that is used less of the time, but I still use all the time for different things. Come to 1996. You can also go to just the search tool, but we're already this far in. So now that we're in 1996, come and we'll click Skybox. And when we get to Skybox, we come down to Premium. And it used to be that you just had one group of cards that had PSA grades, and that was the important thing. But now there's the second thing. See how it says autograph cards? Well, nothing in 1996 came in the base set came autographed. So these are all cards that were signed in person and then authenticated. Now, Kobe has 8 of them ever that have been authenticated. And if you were able to get this card authenticated, you would put this in an authentic holder probably, because it's really in bad shape, right? Like these corners aren't just like sort of worn. They are hammered. But you think about who Hoodies is, right? Hoodies has a brick and mortar shop. Hoodies likely they have 2 brick and mortar shops. Hoodies likely took this card in from somebody who's like, hey, I got this card signed at a game back in 1997 or 98 or something, and I want to sell it now. Now, did they already attempt to get it authenticated? Did it fail? There's a chance of that. But it's got the JSA sticker on it. Why does it have the JSA sticker on it? Was it something that JSA did with Kobe? Did JSA authenticate it on their own? I have no idea. And I'm not smart enough to be able to tell whether this is real or not. There's certainly elements of this where it's like, that looks like you would expect a card like that to look. It's also super interesting that it's worn. But it's $415 on a gamble that you can get that into a PSA holder if you're looking at it from an investment perspective. If you can't, you're hoping you can sell it at a card show or you're listening online like this. But this is a pretty great way to list the card online. Like, it's with a major seller, right? Like Hoodies is a major seller. Look at this number over here, 206,000, right? But gosh, it does grab my attention, because if you can get it to be one of these 9 cards, second authentic card, and boy, you've got a very, very cool piece. A very cool piece. Okay, we're going to call it there for Hoodies this week. And we're going to move on to the Fanatics Collect Weekly. Now, as you look at Fanatics, I always recommend sorting in 2 different ways. They've started doing these featured auctions here at the top. And when I say started, like they started this months and months ago. They put some really good stuff up here, like some big items. I mean, just look at the top 6 items. Griffey from 98 showcase in a PSA 8. It's a big, big card. This is the row 0. It's not just any legacy. It's the preferred row. Yes, legacies go across several different rows. That makes them less valuable because they're a lot more plentiful in aggregate. But on their own, if you say, hey, I just care about row 0, then that goes and competes with the PMGs. Yes, there'd still be twice as many of these, and the rubies and the ultra platinums. It competes with those. This is one of the nicest Ken Griffey showcase cards in existence, though, no question. And right now it sits at $27. It also ends in it says it ends in 7 days. That can't be right. 7 days would be Monday. Are they ending on Monday because it's national? I guess they have to be. I'm a little surprised at that. I would have thought, see how it says it ends in 7 days? 7 days and 9 hours. I'm recording this Monday morning. That is Monday night. Huh. I guess the weekly's on Monday. I didn't know that. I should have known that, but I didn't know that. Closing on the evening of weekly Sunday auction. Huh. Maybe I'm crazy. August 3rd. August 3rd is Sunday. Am I going crazy? I think I'm going crazy. This says 7 days, 9 hours. That's what it says. 7 days. I'm recording Monday. You guys have got to figure that out. Either Fanatics has got something weird going on, and this should say 6 days, 9 hours, or this is ending Monday. It's one of those two things. It says Sunday auction, but it says August 3rd. August 3rd is not 7+ days from now. That is 6 days from now. Unless there's like a tear in the time-space continuum or something. I think I'm right about this. Anyway, we need to look into that. I need to understand it. Maybe there's something wrong with my computer. Does my phone say the same thing? Sorry. We got to look at this real quick. If I look at my phone and I just go to the weekly auction, 7 days, 9 hours. Oh, wait. Seven days, 9 hours. Okay. We'll figure it out. Let me know if anybody's watching this from Fanatics. Feel free to leave a comment. Okay, Topps Chrome. This is the PSG red refractor of Messi and the gold refractor of Messi. And they are both lovely, lovely looking cards. And they will sell for far more than they are at right now. This is one of the best Kobe inserts from his rookie year for sure. This and the Z-Force Z-Pete Zabu are my two favorites of all of the Kobe inserts from his rookie year. And I guess I might look through and might find one or two more, but they're definitely toward the top. I love the Steph Curry. I always mention it whenever I see this. This one's out of 99. This is the first year that they did the preferred silos. This is not the prime or not the patch, as most of us call it. But it's a lovely card. It's the regular jersey card, but yeah, I love that piece. So now let's move from featured to highest. When we move from highest, we're going to see a bunch of non-sports cards. Jordan from the Legends Master Collection, a big Jackie Robinson. This is a Jackie Robinson rookie card. You can see that they put rookie in the title. How can it be a rookie if he has a 48 leaf? Because the 48 leaf has been re-recognized as a 49 card. And so some people will say, well, the leaf has always been the best. We're going to keep it the best. But a lot of people are like, hey, 49 Bowman and 49 Leaf are the same year. They should both be categorized as rookie cards. Oh, here's a cool card to see in the weekly auction. This is a good 2 on one of Babe Ruth's best cards. We're gonna look at that one here in just a sec. One of his best looking cards is what I meant to say. Not one of his best cards from the perspective of rarity and overall value, but like a really lovely, wonderful card from the very end of Babe's playing days. Let's keep going here. Wow. Hogan PMG, purple. Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting card. I haven't really thought about that one since his passing. In a lot of ways, that's the Hogan card. I mean, there's Hogan autographs. There's more iconic Hogans. A couple of them from early in his career that are far more iconic. But like rare parallel? I mean, how many Hogans do you think of? There's certainly other cards. This is one of them, though. It's interesting. It came from an employee exclusive, and at this point, it's recognized as highly as it is. Wait, did I look at page 1? I feel like I might have skipped page 1 somehow. Maybe I'm crazy. But let me go back here. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. There was the non-sports. Oh no, I had these. Yeah, and we've got this Ruth. Oh, man. Make sure there's not anything else that I missed here, though. Sorry, I got going a little bit fast here. Also, I've got to remember this top 5 thing, or I'm going to get to the end and not know what to do. We're going to choose the Hogan, I think, maybe for the top 5 this week. Maybe I'll talk to you guys just a little bit more about that one before we move on. I want to go at least 5 pages on this one. How am I doing on time? Okay, I'm okay. A little bit later than I wanted to, but still. Oh, the green Brady. I gotta do some research on that one. Green from 2012 is really interesting because it's certainly like 2012 Prism, certainly iconic. Although none of them made our top 25 list. Several made like the top 50 or top 60. Brady was just outside the top 50. I think it was like 52 or 53. And so they're iconic, and there's just not a lot of parallels. Now, there's more parallels in football from 2012 than there are basketball, but still, green's one of the main ones. And I don't remember the last time we saw a Brady green. An altered wilt. I want to look at that one. That looks like it might be a really nice card. And yes, something can be nice and altered. You can look at it and you can say, hey, that's a great looking example, even though it's altered. Do I want it altered? No. But is it still cool? Yes. Oh, look at this Griffey. Why does it have him with number 1 on it? Huh. We'll look at that and see if I can understand that a little bit. Whoa. What in the world? Randolph, Curry, Lee. Oh, Curry's going to be Eddie. It's going to be Eddie, Zach, and David, I think. Really an interesting triple logo, man, from Flawless. We'll hit that. Let's do one more page, see if there's anything last that we need to hit. And then we'll look at each of these cards individually and have a few really good cards for our top 5 here this week. So I like this Kyrie. I do like that card. Just didn't make a lot of rookies that year. Okay, so we've got these 5 cards. So no eye appeal sticker on this. My first thing that I'm looking at, because from my naked eye, that doesn't just scream 2 when I look at it. It looks nicer than that to me. We're going to make it bigger. It's a very old PSA case. Come on, scroll tool. I mean, it's certainly not mint, but it looks really nice for a 2, doesn't it? Is this a crease down here? Maybe. Centering looks really good. Color looks really good. Edges and corners are what they are. There may be some creasing. It looks really nice to me, especially for a 2. And I love that card. I've always loved this Ruth. I think in a lot of ways it's the nicest looking Ruth. It's either that or one of the 4 Goudies. Those are the 5 best ones as far as aesthetics go. I love that card, and it's definitely going in my top 5 this week. Definitely. Let's get out of here. Okay, so I mentioned employee exclusive. So imagine you're working for Upper Deck, and Upper Deck is like, hey, we've got an extra bonus for you this year. And they hand you this complete set of, I think it's 6 or 7 employee exclusives cards. There's Michael Phelps, there's Hulk Hogan, there's Tiger Woods. He's the main big one. There's boxer, was it De La Hoya? There's a couple of others. And they say, hey, here you go. Like, here's your, here's your bonus. We're just going to give you these cards. And a lot of people who were employees immediately took these cards and they went and they sold them on eBay. All right. And back in 2013, that was the thing to do. People would get the cards, they'd sell them on eBay. A lot of people sold them as complete sets. A lot of people sold them out individually. But almost immediately, it was like, hey, these are pretty popular. These are pretty cool. They've never done anything like this with PMGs before. And since then, they've become pretty highly sought after. Turns out the best thing that any of these employees could have done, and yes, this is 12 years ago, so inflation and whatnot, but this is one card from the set. The whole set originally was selling for about $700, if memory serves. About $700. And so now just Hogan You've got 6 days or 7 days left on this, and it's already at $1,100 for one of the key cards. It's not, I mean, this isn't even the main card in the set. But when I think of Hogan and I think of like cards that people are going to want to have of his from the long term, I obviously think of his earliest cards, his best recognized cards in high grade, in autographed, and PSA DNA. But if you're asking like what Hogan do I think of when I think of like inserty, really rare, I actually think of this card. This is the one. So it'll be an interesting one to watch this week. And it might be a top 5 card for me. The Brady. What I want to look at on here, I'm going to go to gem rate. And when I go to gem rate, I'm going to click on, in fact, I'm going to pull up gem rate with you guys so you guys can see me do this. When I go to gem rate, yep. And I go to the universal search tool. I'm going to just type in 2012 Prism Brady Green. Nailed it. Look at that. That is amazing. That is such a fantastic tool. So you can see immediately there are 51 total graded ever. How many of them are gems? PSA is graded 15. Honestly, the fact that there's 51, I thought this number would be lower. I thought this number would be a lower number, but that's why gem rate and just being able to do this so fast is awesome. So in a matter of seconds, I was able to figure out there are only 51 of these that have ever been graded. And the majority of them are graded by PSA, and 15 of them are PSA 10s. And that is why this is a really cool piece. Right? 2012 Brady's obviously cool. It's super rare. It's actually not as rare in a 10 as I would have thought, but I would have thought it would have been a lower pop or lower gem rate, because of the 34 graded, 15 of them are gems, meaning 44% are gems. Of the other group, the vast majority are 9s. Then you've got a couple of these other like stragglers. But that's a huge Brady card. Definitely could be one of my top 5 of the week. I want to look at this Wilt because it looks just wonderful. Doesn't this Wilt look just great? See if we can figure out why it's altered. Look at this card. Like side to side is not perfect, but it's pretty nice. I mean, it's really nice. I think it's like 48.52, 45.55, something like that. Top to bottom, really nice. The corners are like straight up rounded. That top left one there is really rounded. Looks like almost too rounded. Gosh, the back looks good too. I mean, it says it's altered, so it's altered, but like, show me a nicer altered Wilt Chamberlain rookie. That's going to be one of my top 5 cards of the week. Didn't think I'd put an altered Wilt rookie in my top 5, but I love that card. I mean, if you want a Wilt that looks like this, you're never going to find a better price than this one. And again, it's because PSA is like, hey, this is an altered card. If you see on it what is clearly altered, please let me know. It didn't stand out to me immediately. This corner is weird because it's so perfectly rounded, but like this looks like a fantastic example to me. I wonder did they say anything? They don't usually say anything in the listing on those types of things. I love that card. Gosh, I think I just put all 5 of my Fanatics. Okay, so this one right here. Let's hit this. So this is one of the best sets ever. I love this set because it's a cross-sport set. You get this in all 4 major sports. Number 1, top 50 contemporaries. This probably means that they had, and I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't. It probably means that for baseball, they broke down the greatest players amongst greatest active players and greatest past players, because nobody has Griffey as their number 1 player of all time. And that's why it says contemporaries. Still, this is an exceptional card. This is the Century Collection. This exists in all 4 sports. I recently, after 10 years of owning it, just last week, sent off my Michael Jordan to another person's collection. I traded it. I had to move it. It was part of my deal to get the Steph Curry tag autograph. I had to let it go. I wish it was a major part of the Steph Curry tag autograph. It was about Oh, it was about 7% of the, of the whole trade. Steph cost me a lot, guys. It did. It cost me a lot, but I had to have it. And it's the same card as this, right? Like the Jordan is number 1 and just number 7 of 100, but everything else is like the same. The die cut over here, the design, being numbered out of 100. I just love that all 4 sports have that. And most cards from this era don't get cross sport stuff like that. The other card that we had to look at, because you just never see these at auction, is the Triple Logo Man from 2007. David Lee, Eddie Curry, and Zach Randolph. Look, Zach had a pretty great career. Eddie, definitely a disappointment, although he had his moments. And David Lee will mostly be known, I think, for being like the guy who was so great on the Warriors until, he got hurt. And then it became like, hey, Draymond Green that's this team is going to be more of Draymond's team. But this is early in his career, while he was with the Knicks. And I like this card in person. The hull foil around the windows, the dark edges and backgrounds. I've seen one of these in person, not the same card, but it was pretty stunning. PSA 4. If you want a chance at a Triple Logo Man, you're probably not going to find a better deal than what you'll get on this card. So I think that's probably the selling point and the most interesting part of it. That's got a chance at my top 5. I don't think it makes it, but we'll see what happens. Okay. We've already looked at all of these. We are now going to, real quick shout out. The Golden has their pop culture auction ending, and I would definitely suggest looking at that. I don't have it up here right now, but there's like a Harry Potter triple autograph, the biggest card in Harry Potter. There's a bunch of other big like comics and things like that, non-sports things, and that ends this week. So that's one of those auctions that you might normally see, but you might miss this week with Nationals. So check that out. And then we have, this is sorted by lowest lot number. I'll sort by highest price here in just a second. I like seeing this star Jordan right here with the rest of the bag. That's really cool. We've seen some really big sales on the Elway recently. Here's the Marino in a PSA 10, PSA 8 Irving rookie, some big comics available for sale. Obviously a bunch of big Caitlins. They're everywhere. The big Caitlins are everywhere. Now we're going to sort this by highest price and see what we get there. And we'll just go through 2 or 3 pages real quick on this. Oh, what is this? Might have found something kind of cool. Okay, this Jordan Kobe, we are going to take some time looking at for certain. Lionel Messi, 1 of 1 Black Prism Select. That's cool. Jordan Kobe dual East-West refractor. More big Caitlins. This card right here, this select card right here, always reminds me of the Black Diamond autographed jumbo jersey. And I don't know why, because it isn't similar in a lot of ways, but it just reminds me of that card every time I see it. Okay. I wish when you clicked that, it would go up to the beginning of the next page. Oh, here's a really interesting one. A Ricky Davis starting 5. Now, there is a card you do not expect to see at auction. We'll talk about the starting 5s here in just a sec. And we'll do a couple more pages first. I love this Mahomes autograph. I mean, I love that. The autograph on that card is so sweet. In-person autographs, or in-person autograph. I wonder how much the autograph controversy, the $350 million autograph controversy, will have on in-person stuff. I do wonder about that. I don't know if it'll have any or if it'll have a huge impact. I don't know, but it's worth watching for sure. Ducky Medwick, PSA 7. Let's do one more page, and then we'll call it for Golden. For the Golden Weekly. Nothing else really jumping out at me. Okay, let's look at these 3 cards here that we've pulled aside. So this is really, like, this sort of stands out to me as like what? How's that even possible? So look at this Jordan. This card is not a nice copy. First off, it's not. I mean, look at the edges. This card is hammered. But what's more shocking is it's in an altered holder. But what's even more shocking than that is it's in an altered holder, but the bag is here. Like, how is it altered? I mean, if there's any Jordan that you would say that card's probably not altered, wouldn't you say it would be this one? Like, I would. Like, the edges are hammered. The card is very far from mint. You would expect to see this in like a PSA 2 or 3 holder because of how discolored those edges are. And yet it says altered, which is significantly less than that. So I don't know what's going on here, but I know this. It's really rare to have both a bag and the altered card. Why would one card be altered in the bag or with the bag? It's really rare and weird. Because like the guy who opened it is probably the guy who altered it, right? But like, how is this altered? It doesn't look altered. It's really interesting. I don't know what it means. Sometimes when you see altered on the Jordan, you got to be careful because altered in a Beckett holder might mean, hey, PSA is still going to grade it and put a number grade on it. We saw that a little while ago where somebody bought a Jordan in a Beckett holder and the Beckett holder said altered and they bought it for like a few grand, sent it in a PSA, got a 7, and suddenly it was a 6-figure card. That can happen. But in this case, this card does not look like a high-grade card in any world. So it's shocking to see it in an altered holder. And it's very interesting. I'm going to put it in maybe one of my 5 favorites of the week just because it's such a unique auction. Let's hit these last 2. Okay, so this Kobe Jordan, I don't know what I'm looking at here at all. But I want to know. So we're going to do our research here. So this has a Kobe sticker autograph on it. And it has a Jordan sticker autograph on it. But it's numbered to 100. And it has this sticker autograph on it. Okay, I love what Beckett did here. Good job, Beckett. So on this slab, good job, Beckett. They did exactly like I'm sitting here racking my brain going, how do I not know there's a dual autograph of Kobe and Jordan? How do I not know that? Like I should know that. I mean, I know they have lots of dual autographs, right? Like I've done this for a long time, right? You guys know this. Like I've collected cards forever. It would be shocking to me at this point if there was a dual autograph of these two from a set like this that I didn't know about. So I'm looking at it going, what is this thing? Right? Like, what is this? Because it's possible that they could have sticker autographs on a set like Reflections. And Reflections did some weird things. What makes this particularly unique and different and strange is that this set had multiple cards that have like two-sided, 2 images of different players, and they're both signed. But because there wasn't room on the card with that design to have like the authentication language or the certificate language, they would include with the card a separate certificate of authenticity. So in my mind, the first thing that I did is I was like, is there a certificate here? No, there's not. Okay. So that's one thought. I was like, there's not a certificate here. Okay, that's interesting. I would think a card like this would have a certificate if it was, pack inserted. And then when I saw that it was numbered out of 100, I was like, wait, what? Because I had already seen like this little bit of Kobe's autographs sitting here. And then I looked down below and I saw Jordan's autograph here. So I'm sitting here going, okay, wait a second. How do I have Kobe's autograph, Jordan's autograph, the sticker, and no certificate? But it's out of 100 and I don't know about it. Like, how does that fit inside my brain? It didn't fit inside my brain for a second. So then this is where I just am like, yes, Beckett. Yes, we nailed this. Here up above, it says 2005-06 Reflections, Compare and Contrast Jerseys, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And then right there in just as bright a colors as you could possibly have, aftermarket sticker autograph. So here's what somebody did. Somebody took this card and they said, I want to create a dual autograph of Kobe and Jordan. They went out and they found sticker autographs of both Kobe and Jordan. They put them both on the same card. They sent it to Beckett, and Beckett said, all right, these autographs are real. The card is real. We're authenticating the card. And we're letting everybody in the world who buys this know, in no uncertain terms, this is an aftermarket autograph. And that is perfect. Because this is exactly what you want. If you want a lower dollar, non-pack inserted, but still authenticated dual autograph of these two, it's exactly what you want. It's 2 stickers off of cards, put onto another really cool card. And again, it's an aftermarket autograph. It's so cool. It is not pack inserted that way, but it is so cool. And I really like it. And then definitely my favorite card of the week at Golden. So this is maybe the set that's like most confusing to longtime 90s collectors. Because look, Hoops, they made just so much of this stuff, just crazy amounts of this product. And there's this product, or there's this parallel called Starting 5. Now, if I remember correctly, and I might remember wrong, so forgive me if I do, forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe there was a 98 Starting 5 set that wasn't as clear as this. Am I wrong? I might be wrong about this. I'm showing my weakness right now. I don't know if there's a 98 and a 99 set. I could just go look it up real quick on Beckett, but then I'd have to sign in. Let me just do some research for you guys real quick because I want to know how to do this. 1999. We know there's a 99 set. The question is if there's a 98 set. Hoops basketball cards. Let's try that first. When we start with that, we get trading card database, which is a wonderful tool for us. I'm going to put this over here so you guys can look at what I'm looking at. And when you come onto here, you've got this option over here for inserts and related sets. So again, this is tcdb.com. I use these tools all the time. And when you come into here, you can see some of the better known inserts really ever. And then you got Starting 5s. Yeah, that's what I thought. So you got autographs, BAMs, slam BAMs, prime twine. And these cards, like slam BAMs, I want to show you guys this too, actually. I'm going to take a tangent off of a tangent here. I want to show you, like, this set is one of those where there's far fewer cards in the pop report than you would expect. So compare it to other really other cards of the era. And there's far fewer cards in the pop report than you would expect, comparatively speaking. And the reason that's interesting is that there's this sort of belief that a lot of these cards were returnable back in this era. And this is a year where we had a lockout. So slam BAMs. All the slam BAMs are cards numbered out of 100, right? There should be 100 of every card. But if we go to gem rate, and we just come in here and we type in Michael Jordan, who's going to be the most graded guy in the set, 1998 slam BAMs. We're going to see it's been graded a total of 27 times. And that's going to have some crossover because this PSA number used to be almost nothing. And now it's significantly higher. So you get 27 cards that have been graded. One of these 485s is mine. And then you've got, 12 other total cards that have been graded. It's just a tough as nails set. 3 8s, a 6-5, a 6, 4 8-5s, 4 9s. And I'm telling you, some of these BGS cards are in PSA holders now. This is probably more like 22 or 23 would be my guess. I don't really know, but that's just a guess. So out of 100, 22 or 23 have been graded. I would guess that basically everybody who knows who has one is graded at this point. Not everybody. 90-something% of people, though, because it's such a valuable card, right? Like the last one we saw, the last BGS 9 we saw sell for like $90,000. It is a very high value card. So why does that matter? Well, look at the Starting 5s. They don't exist, guys. They just don't exist. Nobody grades them. PSA doesn't grade them. BGS doesn't grade them. They're not graded. Why aren't they graded? Because they're just not findable. Now, I'm sort of confusing the issue here for a second, though. I want to tell you why. 98 is what I'm looking at here. 98 has starting 5. I believed that it did, and here it is. And if you look at it, it's my understanding, and again, I don't have the best understanding on this. There are other people who are more experts than me on this by a long shot. If you look at these cards, it's my belief that, that's the wrong thing. It's my belief that 98 was maybe just like the serial number is added to the base card. Maybe not. Maybe there's a little bit of difference between the base card and the starting 5s. And so there have been a lot of fakes made over the years, or there at least have been some fakes made over the years. And people who collect this era of cards don't see the 98 hoops starting 5 as being as important because there's some sort of doubt or risk with the cards, knowing whether it's real. But look, it is the ultimate low-end product with the ultimate difficult pull, like impossible. A starting 5 is an impossible pull. Way tougher than like a PMG green. Way tougher. Not only because it's 2 times as rare in aggregate, but like they made way more hoops than they made of 98 or 97 metal, right? Like way more. So at least I think that's the case. 98 did come later, so there's a chance that they had slowed production at that point. But it's my belief that they made way more of the hoops. I think that's probably right. So with all that said, I know I'm all over the place here, so forgive me for that. With all that said, if you're a collector of late 90s stuff and you want to talk about the sets that we see pop up the least, you are looking at it. 1999 Hoops starting 5 Ricky Davis. I just don't know that you're going to find another non-one of one that you're ever going to see less of a guy like Ricky Davis than the starting 5. 99 is not 98. It's not 97. It's not one of those most key years of parallels. So I don't know that we're going to see this go for some just an astronomical number, but I'm actually not sure that won't happen either, just because I can't remember the last time we saw a starting 5 like this sell. It just doesn't happen. So that's definitely going to be one of my top 5s, or at least in consideration for one of my top 5s of the week. And then when we go to Card Hobby, we'll just start here and scroll down just a little bit. We've got huge Kobe Bryant at the top, a massive rainbow of 2020 LeBron Prism cards. The Amen Thompson National Treasures, the Nike swoosh is obviously just a huge card. I figure out what that's number 2. The Tim Duncan autograph here is a huge card. Big Ant Cade duel. Let's see if anything else really stands out at us. You'll notice with Card Hobby, I'm telling you guys this, whenever you want to find like big time autographs or autograph patches that are selling, Card Hobby is a pretty good option. It really is. They're not going to have as much of like the insert Prism Gold type stuff. A lot of that stuff ends up selling, on the American auction houses, but like the best patches and patch autos, a lot of them end up on here. A lot of them do. Okay, let's see, this man, is it numbered out of 3? I think this is a 1 of 1. What is this? Clutch Factor? Oh, this is an insert. This is the Clutch Factor insert, which they've done for a long time. So if you look at the back, this won't have a normal number on it. It's an insert, but it's a really cool insert autograph patch. Really cool piece. Okay, let's talk about the top 5 of the week. That is it for all of the big items this week. Let's look at how many cards we have and which one will go on the thumbnail. Which 5 will go on the thumbnail. The Babe Ruth, I shouldn't say on the thumbnail. Sometimes I do the top 5 on the thumbnail. Sometimes I don't. So Babe Ruth Sporting Kings 2, Ricky Davis starting 5, the Wilt Chamberlain altered rookie, the altered Michael Jordan. Wow, we've got 2 altered classic cards this week. We'll never see that again. Triple Logo Man, maybe the cheapest Triple Logo Man you'll ever see. The Hulk Hogan and the Tom Brady. Okay, so I can't have both altered cards. Gosh, I do like them both a lot, though. This is going to be tough. I always make it tough for myself. I always do. We have 7 cards total, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, what am I going to cut? So my 7th favorite card this week My seventh favorite card this week is, is the Jordan. It's tough. I really like it, but I'm going to put it 7. Number 6, I'm going to do shocking. Number 6, I'm going to do the Babe Ruth. I know that's crazy, but I'm going to do it. The Babe Ruth, number 6. Number 5, I'm going to do the triple logo, man. I love that it gives normal people a chance, though, at that card. I love that. I do. I love that. Number 4, I'm going to go with the Brady 2012. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Wilt Chamberlain altered. Number 2, we're going to make this the Hogan week. We should do that. The Ricky Davis number 2, and Hulk Hogan, his PMG, the employee exclusive. Some people call it the pink, some call it the purple, but either way, one of the best Hulk Hogan cards in existence. Those are my top 5. Guys, thanks for joining. I'm so excited to see some of you sometime between Wednesday and Saturday at the National. Like I said, if you see me, say hi. And the only other thing that I would say is, like, a lot of times, like, I'll chat with people and like know them by like their avatar. I won't even like know their name, or I'll look at their name. I won't know how to pronounce their name. If you see me, like, just say hi, and would love to see you. But if I don't recognize you right off, please don't be put off by that. Please don't. I'm legitimately excited to meet all of you guys. And so please introduce yourself. And if I don't know who you are for a second, just like give me a second and I'll figure it out. But I'm grateful for that, for you guys, for watching, for downloading today. Thank you for all the likes and shares and comments and things. It really does make a huge difference. And I'll see you guys this week. And until next week, happy collecting.